All right, you want to lose 30 pounds in 90 days? Yeah, I bet. Who doesn't? You want to do it and you want it to be extremely easy. Of course. I can do this, I can make this happen, I can even show you, but the reality is, you know you, and I have a feeling I know you too. But anyway, welcome to Walk Talk Vent. Let's do this.
Hi guys, we're back. Listen, today is a real treat. I'm going to share a YouTuber with the best name. Her channel is called Nicole is Losing It. Isn't that the coolest channel name? She's got a couple of side effects that we haven't necessarily spoken about, but I still thought they were really interesting, so I thought we'd give them a listen. So I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to hit pause on my microphone here, and we're going to hear what she has to say.
Hi guys, it's Nicole. So as many of you may already know, I had gastric bypass surgery. Let's see, it's now been almost 15 months ago. I've lost over 100 pounds, between 100 and 110 pounds down, so that's good. Gastric bypass surgery was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. Of course, it's a very personal decision as to whether it's right for you or not, but it isn't without its speed bumps. And there have been a lot of embarrassing moments that I've had to push through after having this surgery. Before surgery, I was a very regular girl. In fact, too regular at times. I had problems with diarrhea before the surgery, and I had read, and researched so much about the surgery, and a lot of the complications were diarrhea, and I thought, oh, this is only going to get worse after the surgery. Ugh. Well, it didn't get worse, the diarrhea. That's pretty much resolved. I very rarely have any kinds of problems with that, but the pendulum has swung way too far in the opposite direction. And I have a lot of problems with constipation. So for Christmas, I always had my family over, and I would make soups, and then we'd put out stuff to make sandwiches, and we just kind of have a soup and sandwich bar. And then I'd make like baked goods, and I did that again that year. Just kind of hard because no one would be able to eat any of it, but it was fine. That's not even the point. But I hadn't gone to the bathroom in a few days, and I was feeling very uncomfortable, like in the lead up to Christmas. And then on Christmas Day, I was in really bad pain.
So I don't know if you noticed the very first thing that she said out of her mouth, but it's really important. She said that weight loss surgery was the best thing she ever decided to do. So I just want you guys to know that there are plenty of people that feel just like her. They take the side effects as just something they have to go through to get in a healthier body. So let's hear what she has to say. I'll be quiet, I promise. Promise.
So uncomfortable. I couldn't have eaten the food even if I tried. Like, I couldn't eat anything. I was so backed up. And I was still trying to get my water in. It was even hard to get water in. And I was just kind of curled up on a ball, on the couch. My family was eating and having fun in the kitchen, and they would, get concerned and come check on me. I'd be like, oh, I'm fine. You guys just continue on. But it was just, it was so embarrassing. My mom actually, they were considering taking me to the emergency room, but I was like, no, I'm not going to the emergency room on Christmas. I'm not ruining Christmas. But my mom went to Walgreens and bought an enema. Never used an enema in my life. But on Christmas I did. My family, they all left. And then my dogs, who were very concerned about me, they laid down on the floor next to me, and I used the enema. And it took maybe 5 minutes, and it was very painful when things were starting to move, but move they did, and I cannot stress just how amazing it felt when things came out. That was amazing. Okay, the second embarrassing thing, actually this one is kind of more embarrassing than poop, but it's hemorrhoids. So yeah, it goes hand in hand with the straining related to constipation. So I have had hemorrhoids. I developed them, or realized I had them. I was driving to Moab to spend a few days hiking in the desert. And as I was driving, I was like, man, my rear end is very uncomfortable. What is going on? Yeah, I had hemorrhoids. So driving into Moab, I stopped at a store and got a bunch of different products. I didn't even really know what to buy. Like, I just kind of bought a bunch of stuff that said hemorrhoid relief on it. I think the Preparation H ointment is what healed things, but the Tux wipes were very helpful. Another embarrassing moment, I think we're on number 6, body odor. And this might just be because I am a lot more active these days, but I swear that I overpower my deodorant a lot more after the surgery. And again, it's probably because I am more active and I'm sweating more these days. Or, maybe it's because I'm eating a lot more protein. I was reading a Reddit post once before surgery when I was researching surgery. Somebody had posted a question asking, saying, I'm considering having gastric bypass surgery. Anything I should be aware of? And it wasn't posted to the gastric bypass subreddit. It was posted somewhere else. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, somebody had commented, don't have the surgery because people will always be able to tell. And somebody was like, what do you mean? And they responded, because people who have gastric bypass surgery always smell like sweet farts.
I'm going to call BS on that one. Sweet farts. The person probably said, you'll smell like farts. And then they put a little dash mark and they said, sweet. It was probably that. What are the odds? What does a sweet fart smell like?
So I have that in my mind. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if I smell like sweet farts. But I do know that I can smell my own BO a lot more since surgery. Again, it might just be because I'm more active, or it might be my diet, but it is something that I am really cognizant of, and so I make sure that I'm always applying deodorant, and I wear perfume a lot more these days. Number 10 is my loose and saggy skin can be embarrassing. I was just on my treadmill jogging, so I wasn't around other people, but I looked down and my arms, were pumping, and I looked, and just this little flap by my elbow was just it was just bouncing around, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've been out in public jogging too, and I bet people can see that, and it just looks really odd. Okay, another really embarrassing thing, and I know it's just in my mind, and I try really hard to work on this, but I do feel, people, bariatric surgery is seen as the easy way out. And while I do not think there's been anything easy about this, this has been a rough road, I can't help but sometimes feel like maybe I took the easy way out.
Okay, so that was the world's longest microaggression. Listen, she is really a beautiful person. When she was overweight, she was still a beautiful person. There's a lot of this video that got chopped off. It's a 26-minute video. I was able to cut it down to about 6 minutes or so. So I tell you, go see Nicole is Losing Its channel. You will absolutely love it. With that being said, grab your shoes. Let's go for a walk.
Hey, welcome to Walk Talk Vent. We walk daily because we choose to, we drink water because we want to, and we avoid sugar because that's just the way we are. Watch us lose 30 pounds in 90 days right before your eyes. I can do this, you can do this, we can do this. Let's do this.
Yes, let's do this. I will wash their brains out with soap, and you will eat their souls, my lizard friends. I hope you guys are having a good day today. Thank you guys for tuning in to another walk with me. I watch a lot of your comments, and I think it's really, really neat that some of you guys are starting to binge watch me. Hey, I had one comment where somebody said, hey, why don't you put dates and times on your videos, hey, this is day 12, such and such, day. And I did it for a couple of videos at the beginning, and I probably should have done it for all of them, but I'm still new to this. And sometimes it's challenging because sometimes I do videos out of place, which I'm sure some of you guys have noticed. My first half of the video doesn't always match with the second, but all the videos are related. They're all about walking. They're all about water. And, you know, I like to add things on top of it, you know, like if you stress, I think that has an effect on our body weight, right? Our families have an effect on our body weight. And I really believe what I've been saying when it comes to, you know, we are an accumulation of all of our life's experiences, you know? Just like I say that every single thing you've ever eaten equates to what you are physically now. Well, all of our experiences that we've ever gone through equate to our mental health now, you know? And some of us, not me, but some of you, sometimes we put ourselves through so many things that it's almost impossible to have good mental or physical health, you know? Going back to our kids, you know, when you're in your 40s and 50s, that's when you start to have kids that are in their 20s and 30s. And it's real easy to worry about those kids. It's real easy to find yourself in a situation where, you know, you're not seeing your family as much as you'd like. Some people, as they age into, you know, their 50s and 60s, they find out that the world's a lot more lonely, right? Because those kids have left the nest, so to speak. And I just think it's real easy to kind of get stuck where we are. And once again, I think that's where a little walk can really change your life. Because sometimes it's really easy to say, God, I'm living in Groundhog's Day. Every day is the same. Me holding this camera. You think this camera's easy to hold? It must be 20 pounds. You should see my right arm is like Popeye and my left arm is like olive oil, you know? It's ridiculous how heavy this thing is. Subscribe. Oh my goodness. But anyway, this walking in this channel and all of your comments have equated to something that I haven't experienced in the last 10 or 15 years. And that's just that people want to hear me talk. You know, sometimes the kids and the family members are like, Dad, that's enough. You guys are like, more, please, more. I try to get my daughter to watch my YouTube channel, and I just don't think she has any interest. And I'm like, look, you don't understand. Some people like this channel, you know, and I don't think my family and friends want much to do with the channel. So if you end up getting motivated by me to maybe start your own channel, I hope you do it, but I want you to know that I think you'd be better off not to share it with your friends and family because they don't care. And remember, 94% of people don't, okay? And that's exactly why I wanted to talk with you guys the other day about stoicism. If no one's gonna care, you don't need to necessarily be the one that does, you know? And if you do care, pick your battles, right? Pick the things that you care about. It's okay to care about your family and kids. It's not okay to care about everybody all the time in every situation. That's just too much. It's mental overload for you. And when you go on your walk, you know, I always tell you to tackle your problems and be proactive. But you know what? I'm going to give you another bit of advice right now. If you're already strategizing and thinking too much, sometimes you need to be able to just zombie out on your walk. Sometimes you need to give yourself permission to not think about anything, you know? So just keep that in mind. It's very, very important that you not only have good physical health, but mental health. And if it helps your mental side of things by not thinking about a thing, just listening to Walk, Talk, Vent as I throw that brainwashing into one ear and it gets stuck before it gets out the other. Sometimes I think we forget about down-to-earth things, you know? We start thinking about how that Call Me Allie channel, for example, she starts thinking about protein consumption. And you can tell she did some homework, right? She probably had straight A's all throughout college, a 4.0 student, right? Probably had honors stuff going on. But what happens with our weight is we start going to the grocery store and we start taking boxes. You've seen people do this, and you've probably done this too. We take boxes of cereal, we take everything, we flip it around, and we start reading, you know, this product has this many calories, this product has this many grams of sugar, this product this product that. And I don't think all that stuff is necessary for weight loss. And deep down, I think you guys feel the same. The key to weight loss is something that our brains already know. Get moving. It doesn't have to be walking. If you want to go to the gym and run, you can. The only thing I think when I talk about running is that running sounds like a temporary thing. Well, wait a minute, Jesse, I was a runner in college. I can run for 8 miles straight. Yes, but for the average person, there's a chance that they could take injury, and if you're trying your best to do a 90-day challenge, I'd like for you to try to get through it unscathed, you know? And if you ask people that run and you ask people that play hardcore sports, you know, why did you stop in your 30s and 40s? They'll tell you, I got a knee injury, I got a hip injury, I had to go through a surgery. And whenever you go through knee, hip, surgery type situations, if you do have a lot of muscle built up, there's a chance a lot of that is going to turn into a pretty flabby situation. And when you get out of surgery, there's a chance that you're not going to be the same basketball player. You're not going to be the same runner, right? That doesn't mean you should give up. It means you should always build your way back to it. I have one viewer that actually told me that they're hoping that walking can be the catalyst to get them back into their gym, right? I also have a lot of viewers that say, hey, I suffer from this malady, or I have this illness, or I have this situation or condition. Many of them are permanent type situations. I am so proud of you guys for walking under those situations. You know, if you have a long-lasting illness that's going to be with you forever, and you find yourself fighting the good fight, getting out and walking, God, that is commendable. That is awesome. Keep up that good work. The key is, are we doing more today than we were yesterday? And is there a way we could add to this tomorrow? I have a funny feeling that a lot of you guys are actually taking this challenge seriously, which is cool. But I want you guys to know that it's not about 90 days. It's really about the rest of your life. So, with that being said, I want you guys to continue the good fight, and I want you guys to keep pressing on. And remember, let's go over that worst case scenario. You go to your doctors at the end of the 90 days, and he tests your labs, okay? And what he's going to find out is that regardless of your weight, even if you lose 0 pounds, he's going to find out that, hey, over the last 90 days, I've walked 100 miles with this YouTube channel called Walk Talk Vent. I have drinking 6 glasses of water a day. I have ditched 3 cans of soda a day. And I don't eat sugar anymore. I eat a lot of bananas and a lot of fruit. And the doctor's going to be able to look at your lab work, and he's going to say, this is incredible. Because even though your weight hasn't changed, a lot of stuff is happening. And I like the direction you're going. Don't stop. And so my question to you is, if that happened, would you stop? Is everything based on the number on that scale? Or is it more based on the health within that body of yours? Because the reality is, the health within the body of yours is a little bit more important than that number on the scale. But don't worry, you're not going to have a worst case scenario. you're not going to lose 30 pounds. You're going to lose 35 pounds. I think a lot of people wonder if this plan does work. I think it would be very easy as we move forward to say, well, you know, it's not going to work for everybody. It is going to work for everybody. Let my words go in one ear and get stuck at the other. This is going to work for you. It is amazingly easy. I have 2 or 3 viewers that have said, I have been here. This is my day 12. This is my day 10. This is my day 8. Keep going. This is going to work for you. I had a person that said, hey, I'm on day 41. I'm so glad that I saw you last week. You've re-motivated me. You are so close, day 41, and if you stop, you are going to wonder for the rest of your life if I was right that you were only 2 or 3 weeks away from stuff starting to work. Quit listening to the experts, and if you're one of the experts, make a comment against me here because I want some strife. You need to ignore the experts that tell you you're stuck in the shell that you are. Ignore the experts that say you're just a byproduct of your genes. Look, if you look at it from a gene point of view, we're all eventually going to be 70-year-old elderly people, right? But we can still fight it. Those that fight it will live into their 80s. Those that don't won't even make it into their 70s. Okay? Fight the good fight. There is nothing wrong with being active. Keep going. We're going to lose 35 pounds. Okay? Once the pounds start going off, things become easier. What do you mean, Jesse? It's easier for a 180-pound person to lose weight than it is for a 200-pound person. Well, wait a minute. That's not what people say. People say the heavier you are, the more weight you can lose. Yeah, that's because you're so heavy. How can a small person lose as much weight as a big person when it's such a big percentage of their body mass, right? If I lose 30 pounds, that's a huge percent of my body weight, okay? If you lose 30 pounds and you're 300 pounds, that's only 10% of your body weight. For me, it's closer to 25% or whatever the number might be. So you got to stay positive, keep walking. Don't give yourself a day. Hey, day 90, if this isn't working for me, I'm going to go back to the old ways I was. Don't lose your progress. Some of you guys aren't going as hard as I am, and you might be thinking, well, he's doing about a 20 or 30 minute walk a day. That doesn't seem too difficult. That's misleading. I do 2 or 3 of these walks. There's a part of the walk where I don't record it that you don't see, and it's probably closer to there's probably a 35-minute walk in the morning, and it's probably closer to a 45-minute walk in the afternoon, especially when you consider that I also do a walk every day to the store, which is a 15-minute walk. I eat oatmeal or plain Chex or Cheerio or cornflake type cereals for breakfast. And about once out of every 2, if I were to really think about it, I end up skipping that breakfast. Did I do that 2 weeks ago? No. Did I do it 3 weeks ago and beyond, all the way back to November when I had my surgery? No, I didn't. I was eating Captain Crunch just like you. I love those Crunch Berries, just like you. It's part of our history. I can still remember the first time I had the Crunch Berries. Not that I can remember it exactly, but you know, I remember when I was a kid, and I already loved Captain Crunch. But when they threw those red Crunch Berries in, oh my God, it was heavenly. I remember those times. I remember the first time I had a whatchamacallit bar. Have you ever had a whatchamacallit bar? That is probably the most bang for your buck when it comes to candy bars. And when you lose 35 pounds, you're going to have a candy bar with your grandkids, and it's not going to have any effect on your weight. But it could lead you to more candy bars. So I want you to eat candy bars. I want you to talk about food. I don't want you to put it out of sight, out of mind, because that's just not going to work. If you're doing hardcore drugs and you quit hardcore drugs, You can have those be out of sight, out of mind, because not everybody does hardcore drugs. But you cannot do that with food, and you cannot do that with sweets. You just can't. Because there are places out there like Baskin Robbins. There are places out there like Cold Stone Creamery. Oh my God. I think I want Cold Stone Creamery now. There are places out there like Starbucks. Every single place is basically your drug dealer when it comes to food and sweet stuff. We have this new place called EG's. I had never heard of it before, but apparently they do ice creams and slushies and stuff. If I wasn't on this 90-day challenge, I would have tried out EG's. And when I'm done with this 90-day challenge, I just might try out EG's. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to make a commitment to a place like EG's. You want to make a commitment to your daily walk, okay? Also, keep in mind that some of us will hit a goal and then sabotage ourselves. Hey, I know now that I can lose 30 pounds. I'm going to eat whatever I want, and if I ever get heavy again, I'm just going to do Jesse's challenge again. It's not Jesse's challenge. The truth is, it's your challenge. This is going to be a hurdle for you, for me, for all of us, for the rest of our lives. We have to learn to live on the battlefield of hurdles. And if our greatest hurdle is a Snicker bar and a gallon of ice cream, well, that's a lot better than what some of our brothers and sisters on our very channel here have to deal with. When you have to deal with muscular dystrophy of the back or spine, if you have to deal with problems that are health-wise something that other people might not have to deal with, such as recovering from cancer and different things, those are hurdles. The Snicker bar and the ice cream, they're not on the same level. So if your big problem in life is your weight, we can work on that. But you have to let me or someone like me get in your head and tell you stuff that'll stick. And you have to let that old stuff that we learned, like cleaning your plate from your parents, you have to let that stuff go. Staying mad at your coworkers where it affects your gut, you have to let that stuff go. Being afraid to mention a Kit Kat bar, or I know the girl's weakness, the Reese's peanut butter cups. If you're a girl on my channel, write in the comments how much you love Reese's peanut butter cups, because I know deep down that's your weakness. Guys, we tend to like something a little bit more like Kit Kat or Snickers, right? But some of us like Reese's peanut butter cups too. We're not going to discriminate. Those are not real hurdles. They are hurdles for you, for me. But if that's our toughest challenge in life, beating up the Snicker bar, I like our chances. That should be our saying. If my biggest battle in life is battling the Dreyer's ice cream, vanilla bean, I like our chances, don't you guys? As a matter of fact, for those people that have been walking and are past the mental walk stage and have put it into their physical life, their physical reality, stay with me for 15 to 21 days. Let it sink in. Get to the point where your legs absolutely want to move in the morning. Stop. On your walk, just stop. Lift up your knee. Lift up your other knee. Your legs are more active now than they've been in a long time. You're getting younger from the waist down because of your daily walk. And just like sand's going through an hourglass, at first it doesn't look like anything's happening. And before you know it, all that sand has reached the other side and it's time to flip things over. What that means is that after you conquer your weight, there's going to be another hurdle in life to overcome. That other hurdle in life, right? Maybe something happens to a friend, or maybe a family member has to go through a drastic change. There's going to be things that always constantly put your weight back on, in the spotlight. Don't let those other hurdles take you back to a problem issue. You may love watching my channel, but you may not want to be stuck watching a channel forever, right? Even if you walk away from this channel, you still need to be able to hypnotize and brainwash yourself. So I want you to start saying, when you hear stuff like weight is genetic and some people just need Ozempic and weight loss surgery, which is true, but I want you to defy yourself and say, I don't believe that anymore. I believe weight is a hurdle that if you challenge it head on and you get better at doing the hurdles, you're eventually going to be great at getting past hurdles, getting past obstacles in life. If the weight has been the toughest obstacle for you and we can beat that obstacle, you're going to be unstoppable. You are going to be unstoppable. And I would love to hear a comment that, hey, my life is wonderful from A to Z. The only thing that's ever been grief-stricken for me is this weight of mine, because we're going to blast through that problem. We're going to get you in better health. And it's only a couple weeks away. We're in week 3 now. We're heading into week 4. Guys, we're a third done. What that reminds me of is the first couple times you go on a walk, I want you to stop and I want you to turn around and I want you to look at how far you've come. It's amazing how much traction you can go by. It's amazing how much distance, I'm gonna have to cut that. It's amazing how much distance you can travel just in a 20 or 30 minute walk. There are some restaurants that are just a mile or 2 away from you that you never in your life walked to that you might be able to now. Somebody told me yesterday that they had practiced walking to their gym from their work. I don't know if they work from home or what, but they said, hey, I figured out that my walk to my gym is 15 minutes. And then they said I saved them more money by doing that, and I'm assuming they mean gas money, right? Hey, if you're going to the gym anyway, and when you get to the gym, you plan on doing an hour on the treadmill, what would it hurt you to walk there? If it takes 15 minutes to get there, and then when you're there, you walk for an hour, maybe you do a couple little light weights or something, and then you walk back. Wow, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you just make your workout that much more awesome? Didn't you just do a lot of extra credit there? Guys, if you are in week 3, this is where we need to start applying the extra credit. We need to take that next level. If your drinking has gone from 3 or 4 Coca-Colas to 1, God, you're probably very proud of yourself. Why don't you see if you can cut that 1 can into a small can? Why don't you see if you can take that next step and see if you can ditch the soda altogether? But let's prepare for the side effects. If you have a Coca-Cola addiction, you probably have a caffeine addiction. What happens when you take away caffeine? It's going to give you a headache for a couple days. You're going to go through withdrawal for a couple days. But is a headache for a couple days going to stop you from quitting? Because if so, that's something I think you should work on. You've baby stepped your way down from 3 Cokes to 2 to 1. I think the logical step would be to keep going till you hit 0, right? Well, I don't know if I'm ready to give up soda. You're not. Because you're giving up soda and drinking water every day, you can have a soda whenever you want. But the main thing is I want you guys to be able to have a soda without always endangering yourself to fall off the wagon. The 2 times that I lost a whole year without sugar and went back to what I was doing was because of Greek yogurt. I had convinced myself that the Greek yogurt was bland enough where I could handle it. But here's the problem. I didn't go and buy a single Greek yogurt. I bought a 4-pack of Greek yogurt. And before I knew it, I was devouring the 4 yogurts in a day. And before I knew it, I switched up from the Greek yogurts to the Dannon yogurt. You know, the yogurt we grew up with that's basically a bunch of sugar, right? So before you know it, I'm doing regular yogurt. And I'm not gaining weight, right? But then all of a sudden, a surgery hits me. Now I'm not avoiding sugar. I'm full-blown back into a sugar addiction. And now I'm down in bed for months. And literally, this last surgery had me in bed for months. And yours truly gained weight back. So I know in one of my earlier videos, I said, I guess your boy's a yo-yo dieter. But I didn't say it definitively, because the reality is, if I wouldn't have been injured, I probably would still be 160 pounds and able to handle that sugar. But as we get older, many of us are going to get injured. Many of us are going to have surgeries that we have to go through. Just because you're a walker doesn't mean that you're oblivious to an injury, okay? Injuries happen everywhere as you get older. Grandma Patty was walking down the stairs and she fell and busted her head and broke her hip. Those things happen as we get older, you know. I believe I heard somewhere that when you're in your 80s, your biggest fear is no longer the heart attack or the stroke, because if that happens, they don't even consider it a heart attack or stroke. They just consider it dying of natural causes. At that point in your life, your biggest fear is actually falling. And I believe that walking can actually help you in that cause, because if you're walking, maybe your legs are a little stronger. Maybe you're a little bit more athletic. Maybe your arms are stronger so that when you're walking down the stairs, you can hold on to the rail a little bit better. Maybe your balance is a little bit better because of walking, so that when you are about to fall, maybe you're able to keep your balance a little bit better than you were. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. That is the truth, because as we get older, you're lesser and lesser athletically, right? So if you're doing nothing for your health, but living your good life, you're actually going backwards. It's not a huge backward slump. It's just, you know, as we age, we go downhill a little, right? Things degrade. Let's fight that. Let's move our legs. Stretch. I know I told you that if you're walking, you don't necessarily have to stretch, because we all wake up without stretching and walk anyway. But that doesn't mean that stretching is a bad idea. Hey, why don't you YouTube stretching exercises? There's millions of great YouTubers. And in addition to walking with me, why don't you make your next evolution that you're going to add stretching? What if you did 10 or 15 minutes of stretching? Make it your goal to be able to touch your toes for the first time in decades. Because many of you had great flexibility when we were younger. And many of you have started losing that flexibility. So let's summarize what we've gone through this week. We've learned that when we worry about others and coworkers and stuff, that we're actually giving them godlike powers, right? Power over us. We've also learned that you can't take food and idolize it to the point where you need to keep it out of sight, out of mind. Now, if you have to do that for a couple days to get started on your walking, that's okay. But I think many of us are doing that all the time. Oh my God, Joey, get that shake away from me. You're gonna trigger me. If you're getting triggered because your grandkids are eating an ice cream cone, you know, we gotta work on that. How do we work on that, Jesse? Buy a banana, buy a blender. Well, I don't really have too much extra money. Look, if you can't save up some money while doing this, while avoiding all these snacks that normally you're paying money on, if you can't go down to Walmart and spend $15 for a blender, because that's what mine cost and I bought it from Walmart, okay? You don't have to buy a family blender, buy a little personal blender where it fills up a couple cups worth of stuff. And all of a sudden, get off the ice cream for the banana. There's one comment that's missing that kind of worries me. I have yet to see one comment where somebody said, Jesse, I ditched my Cinnamon Toast Crunch for Cheerios. I'm giving it my best effort, right? Hey, Jesse, I went from cream cheese to whipped cream cheese to half of a bagel, and this week I'm going to oatmeal. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to know. If you're doing oatmeal, try it. Try it every day for a week and tell me that you're not sick of oatmeal by day 5. That's what I want to hear. I want to know our success stories right now. We have many success stories. Jesse, here's my success story. I went from 3 Hires root beers a day, and now I'm at 1. That's what I want to hear. I went from drinking Starbucks coffee every day, spending $10 a day on coffee, Jesse, and I haven't had a coffee in 3 weeks. I think you're helping me get off my caffeine addiction. That's what I want to hear. Those things motivate your boy to get his camera out and get walking. Those things motivate me. When I hear things like greatest walking channel ever, those things motivate me. That gets me going, right? But I don't know if you remember this, I made a commitment to myself that I was gonna do my walking channel for a year with the idea that I wouldn't get hardly any subscribers. You know, could you imagine doing this, holding up this 300-pound camera with one arm like Hercules? Could you imagine doing that for a year, talking to your dang self? Oh my God. And by the way, it is okay to talk to yourself, isn't it? I want you guys to succeed in this. You are gonna succeed. We're changing the goal. We're no longer gonna lose 30 pounds in 90 days. We're gonna prove everybody wrong. From today on, we're losing 35 pounds. Are you guys with me? If you're with me, put it in the comments. Hit that thumbs up button. I feel like someone's chasing me. Oh, have a good day. Oh, she's trying to catch the bus. She's trying to catch the bus.